Hello, welcome to NolaStamping. I'm Barb Baldwin, and today we're going to be making a fun card using the color Journey. Journey is close to my heart's color of the year, and it is the last color of the year. So we are going to use a piece of the Journey cardstock to make a card base. So that's 8.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. And so I'm going to be using the Shimmer Trim spool as like a spacing for the front of my card. I'm going to use that heart world sort of thing. And I just want to make sure that I don't put any extra little tone-on-tone stamps where the heart's going to be. So I just sort of put the spool there so that I know not to stamp underneath it. So I'm just going to take some of the little like stamps that are like for the move around sort of thing. And those are from the Let's Go Anywhere card making stamp set. So I'm just tone on tone stamping just things around the edges. And it's just a really subtle touch, but I kind of like it. So now I'm going to grab a piece of white daisy cardstock, and the thin cuts for this stamp set are sold out, but it's just a heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse stamp. So I'm using periwinkle, and I put the stamp the wrong way on the block. Okay, so we're going to stamp the background, and then we're going to second generation stamp that. And that gives you like the outline for the world. So that'll make it a lot easier to cut out along the thing. So I'm just going to flip over the stamp. So now I'm stamping it the right way up, and I'm going to stamp with Limeade on that second generation periwinkle heart. So I'm just going to set that aside to dry for a second and do some more stamping. I'm using one of the word strips, which are sold out, but you can use a piece of white daisy. And I'm just going to stamp happy birthday across the world. So it's a little touch, but I think that it works out great. And I'm using the Journey ink to tie back to the card base. And then because the card base is so dark, I'm going to use a piece of white daisy paper that is 3.25 inches wide by 5 inches tall. And I'm doing a retired sentiment. It says it's just calligraphy that says you mean or you make the world a better place. In the card making pack, there's one that says you mean the world to me, so you could put that out in there. But I really like the sentiment, the way that it fills up the space. So we're going to set all that aside and use our scissors to cut out the world. And I'm just following around the edges real quick and just snipping it out, just fussy cutting it out. It's pretty easy to just go along when you have the lines made by that second generation periwinkle. Okay, so let's do a little paper piecing. So we just need 2 pieces that are 1/4 inch wide by 7 inches-ish long, and then 1 piece of limeade that's 1/2 inch by about 7. And then 2 pieces of white daisy that are 1/4 inch. And you just sort of want to put them all together backwards. So because I like the light on the outside, so I have the dark facing up, and then the white daisy, doesn't matter which side. And then I have the light showing up. And I'm just going to use a Post-it note to sort of keep them all together. So we're going to set that aside for a second and go back to the card front. And I found an old scoring board that I had. And I thought it would look really cool to have like a little 1/4 inch border around the edge of the card. You can skip it, but I think it does add a nice little touch on the edges. And so I'm just going to use the scoring tool to do that real quick. Like I said, not really necessary, but I think that it adds a nice little touch all the way around. Okay, so once that's prepped, we're going to take a extra square little piece of cardstock, and we're just going to use a pencil to just sort of draw out the shape of the corner for the stripe. You want to have the stripe going corner to corner, and you can't really shape it before it goes on the card because the angle is a little goofy. So I find that it's just easier to just sort of put it on the card, have a nice square piece of spare cardstock or a ruler, and just use that to draw the lines on the thing. And then just snip it off with your scissors. And then just grab a tape runner and add some adhesive to the back. Post-it notes are super cheap, so you can just do the tape runner on top of it, or you can just use some liquid adhesive to glue down the edges if you don't want the post-it note to stay on there. I feel like either way will work just as well, although I do like the idea of gluing down the edges just so that they don't go all flappy. Okay, so let's do the interior sentiment. So we're going to take that piece of 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch white daisy and just put that in the center of the card. I must have made a slight mistake when I was cutting. So I'm going to show you how you can just tweak that real quick in just a second. Let's do the front of the card though. I am really excited to use up some more 3D foam dots. I'm going to use that on the world to pop up that heart world up just a little bit, and you're just sort of centering it on that stripe, and you can put that happy birthday flag wherever you want it. I'm gonna go for across the world just because I kind of like how it looks there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shimmer trim roll, like the spool that it comes on, and I'm just using that as a way to line up where I put my liquid pearls. So the shadow just sort of casts a perfect circle, and I'm just gonna go along the because everything is sort of popped up. You just have to be careful of where you put your hands, and all you do is just go along the circle and just put a little drop of liquid pearl on there and then set it aside to dry, and that'll do like a perfect circle all the way around, which I really like. So I did set that card aside so that it would dry a little bit before I worked on the inside. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of the Journey shimmer trim that was on the spool and after the card front was dry, I'm just going to go ahead and put a strip of it at the top and the bottom of the sentiment panel on the inside of the card. And I cut the shimmer trim in half just so then it wasn't as long of a strip, sort of, so it would look similar to the lines that are on the front of the card. It would sort of tie in with that. Well, that is the card. I hope that this inspires you to make the card or make it your own. I really love how quick and easy the card came together and how bright and vivid the colors are. I can't wait to see your version, and don't forget to stay crafty.